Southern Knowledge Podcast. We are back once again. We are back. Now I know you're used to us usually doing the YouTube review. Doing the movie reviews. But now we're about to do something that's kind of major. You know, recently I was at my barbershop. I cut hair. If you don't know, Malice Martell, a Ty the Barber Guy, whatever you want to call me, Slicing Tyson, whatever you want to call me. I'm a barber as well now. And I did one of the dumbest things I think I could have done in my life. I'm in the barbershop, and I started talking a conversation about greatest rappers of all time. Now, you know the old heads, Rakim, Cool G Rap, KRS-One, the young dudes, Kendrick, Meek Mill, Big Pun was thrown in there, DMX, Jadakiss. And that really just made me think about something we talked about a couple months ago. What is our greatest albums of this decade? Now, for our criteria, we have different kind of criteria, and the emphasis was on from 2010 to now, and we had our own parameters. Remember, this list is subjective. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on something else.
Right.
But I feel like this was major to each of us, and we're going to critique and shit on each other's list. At least I know I will.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And also, too, it's a big thing with artists is that they hate when we put them up against each other. What is this list going off of? What is it based off of? And my list is truly just on when I first heard the album, its impact on me. That's just the biggest thing to me. Like, when I first listened to it, is this popping? Am I instantly in love? Can I not get enough of it? Do I play the album a second time? 2 is also, can it just flow? I remember Tyler, the Creator, he brought up a factor of, I think when the album with the bees on top of it came out, he was like, play this car while you're driving for 40 minutes straight. Don't stop. Just keep going. Just play this album in your car. Can I listen to this album beginning to end without skipping? Is there some skips on this album? To me, I don't think that could be on your list if you're throwing out albums out there that got skips on.
And for me personally, my criteria was the impact it had coming out, the lasting power, the perception, and not even just that, the impact, like how much it changed the game when it came out, the lasting power. Not only was I able to listen to this song from A to Z, but how long? When I'm still listening to this song 4 years later,
right.
Did it only last that year? And just compared to that artist and what that artist has done, what did this album mean with them in their grand scheme of things, and to me, and mainly how I personally felt about this. Now, I must give a forewarning, and maybe this is just a Southern bias. There is no artist from New York album in my list. Now, I know some people might be like, but Jay-Z,
this decade, though.
This decade. From 2010 to now, and I don't think 444 was that good, or the Magna Carta.
Right.
So neither one of them was for me. There is no New York-based artist in my list. That's the criteria. And
that's the criteria. No,
I'm gonna give this later. I'm gonna give this. The second part is very bold. If you know who I am, so I'm gonna save that part for a little later, to after my list, when people are like, "Wait, you didn't have," and I'm gonna explain why that person wasn't in there and what that really meant for my situation. Now, what we want to do first, we're gonna try to guess who are at least top 5 albums that one of each other would have in there, and I think for that, Uncle Luke, you should go first. And guess what you think is in mine.
Now, doing this with you for the past year and a half, this podcast, and knowing you for the past, since we were, 10, 11, kicking it since we was in diapers. We've been bred to do this, really.
Mm.
And I think I got at least 2 for sure.
Okay.
2 for sure.
But there's obvious ones that, like, they're albums that you cannot make a list without. So that's going to be kind of easy to guess.
So I'm just going to kind of go out the ballpark, and I'm going to, 5 that I think you would have on your list. I want to start with the Black Thought album that he dropped last year.
Okay.
I don't know the name of it. I want to say you have Watch the Throne on there.
Okay.
I want to say you think Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
That D'Angelo album that dropped a few
D'Angelo?
years. Yeah, D'Angelo, the R&B singer.
I thought this was rap albums. Wait, are we not doing rap albums?
Oh, man, how can you just strictly just rap? What?
I only did rap and maybe one kind of two kind of R&B albums. Well, yeah, I kind of have some R&B in there, but that makes it so broad to say all. I just did personally rap and rappers that do skewed rap as well that kind of sing.
But honestly, for you, do you even listen to a Selena, or do you even dibble dabble in different kind of genres besides hip hop and R&B?
Current music? Yeah. I mean, no.
So you wouldn't even really, it really wouldn't matter for you, to be honest with you. And like I said, this is just my personal list.
I rock with an Adele. I rock with people but I'm not just always listening to that. I have a broad spectrum of music, but that's not rap and mostly black music. Maybe a little blues, maybe a little jazz, a little reggae.
Okay.
But it's mostly R&B and rap in my list.
Do you think you want to revise it right now? We gonna stop this?
No, I want to. I'm already here with it. I'm going ahead.
You sure you don't want the extra 10 minutes?
I'm standing 10 toes.
With that, okay, so throw that out of there. Rap artist. Since you mostly have the rapper, what is that, 3? Damn, now you got me tripping. I really don't know.
Okay.
But I know Watch the Throne. What else?
You said Black Thought.
Black Thought. And I think you kind of gave me a hint too, so I'm not going to say that one. Jake, let's just say it starts with a guy that double platinum, no features.
J. Cole. What album by J. Cole?
You said, I remember you telling me that. So you said, Ready to Die. Not Ready to Die. Notorious B.I.G. What's the album? Whatever the first studio album you dropped? Okay, whatever, man. What do you think is on my list?
I think Earl Sweatshirt. I don't do shit. I don't go outside. I think Kid Cudi, Passion Plane and Demon Slaying. I think Drake, Take Care. And if I'm going to throw one else out there, which if it isn't on your list, you might have a kind of screwed up list. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
So with that, further ado, I'm going to say you got 2 right. How many did I get right of yours?
0.
0, really?
0.
0.
So you said Black Thought, Watch the Throne, and one. You got one right. No, you didn't. No.
I said Good Kid.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You got one right. You got one right. Now I think Uncle Luke. With no further ado, I think you should go first with your list.
Do you want me to take it away?
I think, let's go from honorable mentions and then go from 10 to 1. And I'm gonna should I give my critique as you're going, or wait till you're done and then say what I have to say about my list? I think we should do it wild, because with some albums you got to bring up the track list and you got to say what's going on with there. So without any further ado, I think you should go.
So honorable mentions, man, it's especially artists like a Kanye West. People say that Yeezus to this day is better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of his best albums. Top 3. People say it's top 3, one of his albums. And people to this day will say that The Life of Pablo is better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Just had to throw that out there. Like a Kendrick Lamar and a Drake, they've got multiple projects. I mean, do you look at a Kendrick, like, honestly, with Kendrick Lamar, you can throw Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. You can throw, honestly, Damn, too, to me.
So are you going to start your list? Or?
So that's my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. Wait, what was your honorable mentions? Can you...
So what? Just Kanye. People love Kanye regardless, but he's on my list of top 10, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was saying with Kendrick Lamar, one of his albums made it. So whichever 3 of those albums of Kendrick Lamar that you like the most, you can never just... It's like picking stones, really.
Okay.
And Drake, I think Views is honestly the only second best album. I don't really like that.
Wow.
The other album that he...
Nothing was the same? None of that?
Yeah, no.
If you're reading this too late?
See, Views could possibly be the second one. And honorable mentions for sure. Die Lit by Playboi Carti. I think that definitely has to be thrown in there. Beyonce 4. I think Chris Brown for Fortune and X.
Okay.
Possibly even Heartbreak on a Full Moon with 50 track albums on there. A lot of people said it was repetitive, but without further ado, like you said, I have at number 10 SZA, Control.
Of the deck. It's gonna be funny because it's not weird, but it's gonna be weird because you're gonna have a more infusion of R&B in this, and mine's is gonna be just straight
almost rap, pretty much.
Yeah, but continue.
That's
okay.
You sure you don't
that
need
was a major album.
You sure you don't need this extra 10 minutes?
No.
So just from start to bottom, that whole album. What also too I take in an album is if it has things that it also wants me to listen to. That's what I really appreciate about artists, is that they just don't give you content. They give you a picking in on how their brain and what they think. So I think SZA did that beautifully. And also somebody too in the same aspect as well. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to be sexist, but I got him 9 and 10 is Salon, A Seat at the Table. I got her at number 9.
Okay.
Number 8, I do have Sam Smith in The Lonely Hour. Now, I don't know if Boys is homophobic like Kevin Hart.
Bro, I think you should change yours to at rap albums, bro.
Just straight rap albums?
I think you should, bro. Because that's more so the Southern Knowledge podcast.
How can we just say...
All right, just go. Continue. Can you tell me the track listing from that Sam Smith album, please?
You got I'm Not the Only One, Lay Me Down, Like I Can, Leave Your Lover, Money on My Mind. I mean, there's honestly 4. I mean, if you want to do the Grammys top
I personally
10
only
best
know
rap
like
albums.
two Sam Smith albums, and they're good. Isn't that You Say I'm Crazy?
That's
Okay,
on
yeah,
this
that's
album.
a good song. That's a good song.
So you must got Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy, Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, The Heist on your shit, huh?
Now you just getting disrespectful. Unnecessarily disrespectful.
So at number 7, I got Adele, 21. You can
Okay.
either go 19, 21, or 25 with Adele. You really can't go wrong, but I just think that's her best album. I got Justin Bieber, Purpose at number 6.
So it's really no rap albums.
And now that we just said that, I think literally the first half of my list is
the greatest,
R&B.
the most selling genre this past decade. Hey, okay, continue. Just continue.
So from 10 to 6, it is all mostly R&B and what do white people call that shit? Contemporary
Pop music.
Pop music. So at number 5, I do have Drake, Take Care.
Okay.
Underline, I believe, from start to beginning. How many singles was on it? 7?
I mean, the whole album, people know
Yeah,
by
exactly,
heart.
by heart.
Even the Kendrick Lamar on it, Buried Alive interlude, a lot of those.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any dispute. You can't have a top 10 list without having Drake, Take Care on it. I've got Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay.
I think you're more so of a Good Kid, Mad City kind of guy. Like I said, you can't really go wrong. But just the message that he tried to convey in that album, the points he tried to get across, I think is where it tips the hat for me for instead of Good Kid, Mad City.
Mm-hmm.
At number 3, which is also a new inclusion on this list, I think the earliest project, the newest project that has been out since last year, and we kind of brought him up. Well, we talked about him earlier in the show. It's Mac Miller, Swimming.
Okay.
He is at number 3. I didn't really want to listen to the album. You know, I used to love him a lot when I was younger.
And you don't think you're having any recency bias because of his passing? Is Victory Lap going to be number 1 because of the passing of Nipsey Hussle?
Definitely not. But like I just said, with Mac Miller, when he passed, I didn't want to listen to his album because I knew it was a lot of his demons and a lot of his thoughts and what it was going through in his brain when he made this album. But finally giving in and finally listening to it, man, it just can't. It's undeniably his best project and definitely top 10 to me. Maybe it could be biased as much as I used to love when I was
number
younger.
2,
and he died, but to me it's number 3. Number 2, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. What am I gonna say there? And at number 1, I have Frank Ocean Blonde. Frank Ocean Blonde, like, I think you're probably more of a Channel Orange guy. You usually like artists at the beginning of their
I think Channel Orange was his best. Was better. But was that's been since 2010 or was that was right?
Yeah, 2012
Okay.
I think is when Channel Orange came out. But to me, Blonde is just beginning to end. There's nothing else. You literally go back and listen to his mom just talking.
One last time, can you just say 10 to 1 real fast? Just
SZA Control, Solange A Seat at the Table, Sam Smith in the Lonely Hour, Adele 21, Justin Bieber Purpose, Drake Take Care, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly, Mac Miller Swimming, Kanye, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Frank Ocean Blonde.
I'm going to say a couple of albums on there. I feel like the rap albums that I named were better than a lot of those albums, but in their contemporary field, I think they were great.
Okay.
Now, for mine, I'm going to say already I had a lot of rap, mostly all rap, but I did add some titles from what you just told me that I'm like, okay, since we're throwing this in, those are albums that I really like too that aren't rap and that aren't in that genre.
So what's that honorable mentions? Let me
So for me, my honorable mentions are J. Cole, Born Sinner.
Oh,
I feel like that is J.
okay.
Cole's best album.
Better than 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Better
Double
than
album, no
2014.
platinum.
Better than that.
No features. Okay.
Love is Rage. Slime Season. Schoolboy Q Oxymoron.
Okay.
Watch the Throne.
Oh, okay. Damn, honorable mention.
Adele 21.
Really? Okay.
And Solange, A Seat at the Table.
Okay.
Those are my honorable mentions. Now, I love Adele 21 and I love Solange, but I just didn't have enough time to factor that in and where I would actually rank them, so I just had to put them in the honorable mentions. And I know I am probably putting myself in a slight dimension or a tight hole by only being hip-hop, but this is me personally, the albums that really affected me.
Right.
I love those other genres, but hip hop is what's really with me and what I really listen to. So
is it Love is Rage 1 or 2?
Love is Rage 1. Love is Rage, because that's what got me on Little Uzi. I remember being at SFA in college. Every party we going to, we listening to we listening to all of the songs on there. We listening to 7 a.m. We listening to everything on there. So for me, that album, and that just, I fucked with it heavy.
Not gonna lie, I like it already. Go ahead, number 10.
Number 10 for me, Rick Ross, Teflon Don, 2010. 2010. Why is that funny? It has his on it now. I probably should pull up, if you could, Uncle Luke, for every song or whatever album you feel like I should get more into, or have to prove why I'm doing it. You can just look at the track listing. But I feel like that's Rick Ross' best album, and I feel like that album spoke on so many levels, and the production on it, the hits that was on it, and established really Rick Ross, and just not established him and like brought him into the mainstream, but I feel like really just put me more so on Rick Ross, and I had that album and I loved it.
Okay. Number
9, Chief Keef, Finally Rich. I felt like this isn't, and this is what I talked to you previously before talking when I said, it's not the artist's best album or collection of music, but what it did and its impact and what it did for that artist's career, what it meant to the culture, what it meant to everyone around it, and how it inspired people after it. I felt like Finally Rich was one of those albums where it just set a tone. It brought Chief Keef to the forefront, and it really brought in a lot of artists that even to this day is just thriving from that lane that he created with that.
You know what, man? I'm not gonna lie, I love that pick. I have honestly nothing to say about that pick at all.
Number 8, I have, and it's gonna be weird because a lot of people probably didn't think I listened to this, and there's gonna be a lot of people that comments on this and like, I never really knew you listened to him. You wasn't really on him like that. But number 8 for me is Kevin Gates, Luca Brasi 2. From that song, from
Kevin Gates head?
Not a Kevin Gates head, but that album I think is a really great album. From I Don't Get Tired, Pouring the Syrup, Perfect Imperfections. That album has a lot of hits on it that made Kevin Gates who he is. It got songs you can fuck to, songs you can ride to, songs you can dance to, songs you can everything to. I think that's a great album for me personally, and I put that as number 8.
You know what, too? Recently, I just found out 3 months ago, Kevin Gates is like an iconic figure now. I just now realized that.
Hey, it's up there.
Yeah, homie.
Put your hands down when you talking to me, bitch. I kind of threw a New York accent, so I don't know why I did. But all right, number 7, I actually have a tie. I don't know
how
we're
it would go
this.
7 and 6.
Nah, I don't. It's tied for 7, not 7 and 6. I have a 6. This is tied for 7. If one ain't on there, then it ain't on there. And it's Future. It's Monster. And Monster is tied with Future Hendrix, the self-proclaimed album when he dropped Future. And
That's
he dropped
3
Hendrix.
albums. How
no, I'm
saying
not Future Hendrix. I'm saying the album Hendrix.
The album Hendrix? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Hendrix and the album.
You like Hendrix better than Future?
Yes, and Monster are tied for my 7.
Oh, man, you gotta go. Hendrix. You like Hendrix better than Future?
Yes. I think it has love songs on there. It's true Future. He's pouring his whole heart out over these beats that you can love, from Collection to Solo to Sorry. I think that album has so many, from A to Z, you can listen to it. It's Future at Future's best, being that, loving / what's toxic person that Future is. But I think that he just gives so much to it. Number 6, I have Anderson .Paak, Malibu. From 2016, I think from A to Z, once again, no skips, replay value. It really brought Anderson .Paak into who he was on the forefront of who we know him in the mainstream. And I just feel like I put so many people on that album, and it's just, for me personally, that is a great album.
Which number album is that? Like, is it his first one? Is it his second one?
Artists always have projects before the main project, but I think that was his first major studio album.
Anderson .Paak is somebody I never really listened to. I need to give him a listen. I know Averett loves him a lot. You love him a lot. I definitely should give him a listen. I can't really debate on it.
Number 5, and I'm surprised this album was in yours, Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper. I feel like that album right there put so many people into a different, whether it's taking LSD, it made Chance the Rapper who he was. Now, none of his albums afterwards, I Love My Wife, all of that shit, it's not the same as this. This album was real. It gave another point of view of what was happening in Chicago, not on the violence, but just on the realism. It had songs in there with replay value, whether Cocoa Butter Kisses,
Niggas
Juice.
put a whole album on there for 2 songs. A whole album for 2 songs, man. Number 5?
Acid Rap.
Cocoa Butter Kisses and Juice. What else is on that project?
Smoke, fucking, with Av Soul. You can look up the track list for acid rap. If you have a problem with acid rap, meaning number 5, look up the track list and you tell me what song in there
You like
is not
acid
good.
rap better than Coloring Book?
Yes.
Okay.
What? Bruh, no Chance the Rapper fan doesn't put acid rap number 1. Now stop procrastinating and look up this track list so I can make you feel dumb right now. Because this is a great album and everyone that listens to Chance the Rapper says this is his best album. Please tell me the track listing for this.
It's not popping up, man. Obviously, it's not looking.
Just
too
search
great for
acid rap track list. If not, go to Wikipedia because they have it as well.
Yeah,
but
they use
the
that.
fact that you're just... So you're saying this shouldn't be top 10, it's not a great album. Where are you coming from with this?
It was a great. And first off, it's a mixtape.
That's another thing. I didn't put a distinction between mixtape and album. That there's certain
How can
mixtapes.
you not put a mix
That is
distinction?
the only reason why it's a mixtape is because it's free. This is great content that's better than a lot of people's album, and I'm not going to let people hinder themselves and just say this is a mixtape when the caliber of this album and the content that's in this album was great enough to be an album, not a mixtape. But tell me what song on that track list that you didn't feel like was good, or that you felt like was a skip.
Favorite song for sure. Nah.
This is your favorite song. You just don't know the words. You tweaking, bro.
Chainsmoker.
Chain smoking, name dropping, good looking. Bro, you tripping. Again.
I'm sorry, bro. You can't have skips on the album, man.
You haven't named skip
It's
yet.
a mixtape. It's a
It's-
mixtape.
That's not a distinction, man. That's not good enough. If it's a body of music and it's good and it's great enough, I'm not gonna hinder it by saying, "Oh, this is the mixtape. I'm not gonna bring this in." No, it's a great album.
Mixtape by Chance the Rapper. That's what.
Yeah, it said mixtape, but this is just a collection of music that's great. I don't care about that. Number 4, we can all agree on this one. Drake, Take Care. Drake, Take Care is Drake's greatest album. It just, for me personally, A to Z. I remember being in middle school, freshman year of high school. I think 8th grade summer, freshman year of high school, listening to this song, playing it A through Z. My mom had the CD. Everybody loved it. There's no question about that one, right?
No, I thought you were gonna go against the grain. That's why I didn't try to say it. I think that's like the easiest album to put in everybody's top 10.
Number 3, as you already said before, Good Kid, Mad City. I think that just showed Kendrick. I mean, more than just Section 80, which is great. I just think that just A through Z just had the songs, that just the hits. It had the content. It had the vibe to it. It had the right skits in it. From everything in that album, just how it was put together, I felt like it was perfect. Number 2. Now this one is probably going to get a lot of people. It's going to get a lot of people riled up. But I just feel like these two people, when they was doing this album, it just at this time they were going to run. No one could stop them. Number 2 for me is Rich Gang the Tour Part 1, Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan. I just think Da Vinci, all of the songs that was on there, I just think it was great, and I think it's one of the greatest albums, even if you want to say it's a mixtape, collection of music, whatever you want to call it. To me personally, you can't beat it, right? And number 1, which I think everybody can agree on, now listen to this contemporary music, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. From the production, from the music, from the interludes, from anything you wanted to go on there, I think that album was the epitome of this generation. The epitome of... did you just say that's Kanye's best album? No, right? No.
100%.
Oh, yes?
100%.
I think just from the features, from how he did it, I can't love you this much. Everything on there, for me personally, just put that as my number 1. I still listen to that from this day. I still play Blame Game. It's just, for me personally, great album.
Like you just said, like I said at the beginning too, it's something when the artist wants you to hear more than just the music itself. I mean, Chris Rock at the end of Blame Game, all the skits that he always do, it was just a magnum opus. I don't think anybody will be able to touch the level of production and the level of vocals that he was able to have in that album. Like I said, man, it's easy. Top 5 for sure. If you don't have Take Care or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy in your list, you kind of just
Or Kendrick
you're just
Lamar.
trying, or Kendrick Lamar album.
And just to go
You're
through
just
it
trying to go
again,
against the grain.
Rick Ross, Teflon Don, Chief Keef, Finally Rich, Kevin Gates, Luca Brasi 2, Future, Monster and Hendrix tied for 7. Anderson .A.A.D Malibu at 6, Acid Rap at 5, Take Care at 4, Good Kid, Mad City at 3, Rich Gang, The Tour Part 1 at 2, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy at 1. Overall, what do you think of that list, Uncle Luke?
1, I think you just made your own list. I think we should have got together better on this to come to a better agreement, because you got mixtapes on there. You've got 2 number 7s.
But even the
so you got
mixtape-
11 in the top 10.
Okay.
And you got Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug at number 2 albums for the decade.
I think so, man. I mean, the content is there. The content is... lifestyle.
I can't even argue with you on that one, man. I'm torn from Acid Rap. I'm torn from Teflon Don. I can't even argue with you on number 2, but this is just your preference, man.
Right? Well, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let us know if we both tripping. Let us know if you agree with Uncle Luke. Let us know if you agree with me. Let us know in general. I don't give a fuck if you hate it, love it, whatever your list is. And if you want to in the comments, post your own list and we'll look through and we'll maybe come back and make another video just seeing what people say. Other than that, to our podcast listeners, we love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing the support. And at the end of the day, this is the Southern Knowledge Podcast with Malice Martell and
Uncle Daddy Luke. Like we just said, we love our podcast listeners. But if you're tuning in just to the tube and you're subscribed to us already, go ahead and, get that whole hour of what we talked about Antonio Brown today. We talked about Nicki Minaj. We talk about anything relevant that's going on. We talk about... we try to not talk about it.
We talk about the topics that need to be talked about, and we give the perspective that we feel unbiased, unaltered, uncensored, unadulterated, and you damn dirty apes, we love you.